What's up? It's Andy Grammer with Jag.
Hi, this is Carly Rae Jepsen, and you're listening to Jag.
Hey everybody, it's Joe Jonas hanging with Jag.
This is Heather Knox with the hottest Jag I've ever seen.
Ryan Seacrest with Jag.
It's B.O.B. checking in with my homie Jag. So much swag with my homie Jag.
It's the Jag Show Podcast.
Welcome in. So my tip this week has nothing to do with podcasting, really. It's all about an escape. It is an extremely stressful time. I'm recording this on Thursday. You're probably hearing this on Friday. The election is Tuesday. Many of us on both sides think that if the opposite candidate wins, it could be the end of days. Social media and cable news make it so much worse. It's so easy to get sucked in, and of course you should pay attention because this is important stuff. But between that and the fact that a COVID lockdown could be happening with COVID cases being the worst they've ever been, and most of the country about to go into cold weather where we can't do things outside, and also just the fatigue from COVID, we're all tired of it and dealing with it. There is so much to be stressed out about. Find something to escape to. For me, it's been a couple of things. My wife and I love Hawaii, so we've been binge watching the reboot of Hawaii Five-0. We have just gotten into season 8 of 10. Yes, we are almost 200 episodes in since the beginning of the pandemic at 42 minutes each. And also, we got a dog in April, and she is a little bit spoiled. She demands 2 2-mile walks every single day. That at least gets us out of the house, gets us moving, and gets a little bit of fresh air. I don't know what that escape is for you. Ideally, it's something not in front of a screen. It could be yoga. It could be catching up with an old friend. But find an escape. This is going to be a really stressful week for all of us, and you really need it. As I said, I'm recording this on Thursday. It's the final day of Podcast Movement Virtual. While, again, it is impossible to duplicate how exciting and fun this event is in person, they really have done a great job with the event. A couple additional takeaways I'll hit you with today. I watched Shante Holley's session on the gift of transparency, fostering connections with your listeners. She talked about being real with your audience when life throws difficulties at you. Doing so and being a real person creates a bond with your listeners. I certainly experienced back in 2006 when my best friend was killed by a drunk driver. I went on the air and talked about it. People called in all night. It was one of the most spiritually fulfilling radio shows I ever did. Be real. It's what made radio great and why podcasting can be so powerful. Late last week, Rob Walsh from Libsyn, one of the smartest people in podcasting, echoed my sentiments that your podcast doesn't have to have video. Now, you can have it if you have the bandwidth and the staff to do it. But according to Rob, only 14 of the top 50 podcast aggregator apps fully support video, and 0 of the top 200 episodes in Apple Podcasts are also simulcast as video. Again, the power of an audio podcast is that it goes where a video can't. Still don't believe me? Netflix is testing out an audio-only version that's going to let you listen to something on the go without actually watching it. It's being tested with Android, the link in the show notes. All right, I mentioned Podcast Movement. Speaking of conferences, PRX and Google Podcasts are partnering for a free one-day seminar called Podcast Recess, set for the Saturday before Thanksgiving, November 21st. Link to that in the show notes, as well as these 3 quick podcasting hits. iHeartRadio has bought VoxNest, which owns the Spreaker platform. Stitcher is redesigning its platform. And The Athletic is now partnering with Megaphone for hosting and dynamic ads. One final note, Shure, the microphone company, Shure, they make great products. I've used their SM48 and SM58 handheld microphones. They've been around forever. And right now, I'm actually using their high-end microphone, the Shure SM7B. That'll run you about $400. But Shure has actually created a mid-price point microphone. The cheap ones go for about $100. The expensive ones go for $400 or $500. This new mic called the MV7 goes for about $249. It's got both USB and XLR connections. You can control it in some cases with the Shure Motive app, and you can even use it on iPhone and iPad to record. It's getting great reviews. I've included a link to the microphone as well as a link to a review in Forbes. Again, I haven't tried it, but I'm hearing good things about it. Sure, if you're listening and would like me to review it on a future episode of this podcast and would like to send me one, you can certainly feel free. Finally, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Feel free to share it with a friend through social media or any other means. And if you need help with your podcast, my information follows. Stay healthy and stay safe. And vote. Later.
Thanks for listening to the Jag Show podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe in Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever you get your podcasts. For help with your podcast, find Jag on social media at Jag in Detroit or on the web at jagindetroit.com.